Alright, a little bit of an odd question to start with, but did you ever look back at what you enjoyed doing or did as a child and then think, how the fuck did I not turn into the next Hannibal Lecter? Anyways, yes, today's video is going to be very interesting, but hey everyone, my name is Poisonblade. I hope all of you are doing well today, and today we're building a natural and realistic moose habitat. So with that being said, before we get into the actual video, don't forget to hit the like button because it does help out a lot with the algorithm, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you want to keep up to date with the videos, although there should be a notification button for that as well, but that one is just as broken as my sanity. Let's get started with that moose habitat. So yes, I did say in Discord that I wasn't going to release a video today because, you know, New Year's Day, I'm probably very hungover at this point, but, well, not at this point, not at the point of recording, but at the point of you seeing this. Although I've never really been hungover, so that would be a new experience in itself. Yes, I am a crazy squirrel who has never been hungover. But anyways, then I looked at my mental schedule of when I wanted to do what, and I realized, oh, next week Saturday I want to do an overview of Eve Zoo because it has grown a lot in the time that it has started, or since it started. Grammar and just language and words in general don't really connect in my brain. But I wanted to do this overview next week Saturday, but I had still 2 more habitats that I needed to finish that were on the left side of the entrance. So then I thought, I mean, I enjoy making these voiceovers. It's a short video because it's just like, for me, a habitat is very easily built. It's usually the things that go alongside the habitat that are difficult. So then I decided, I could make this video easily. Also, just a heads up, if you hear explosions in the background, no, that's not my sanity exploding. That has already happened long ago. No, it's, well, Old Year's Day, like it's the day before New Year's when I'm recording this, and no, nobody is keeping up with the ban on fireworks. So if you hear explosions, that's that. It's fireworks going off in the background, because nobody knows that I'm recording a voiceover right now and they need to shut up. Anyways, away from my egocentric thing there, but the entire inspiration for the moose habitat was the beast boss, which for those unfamiliar, and I guess that 99% of you guys watching are unfamiliar with that area because it's a area or a natural reserve in the Netherlands. It's kind of, well, here's the thing. I looked up what the habitat of a moose was, and then I found out that moose 1000 years ago were actually living in the Netherlands, and that since they have been eradicated by like hunting, destruction of their natural habitat, since they've been pushed out of the Netherlands, they have been looking recently, or at least there has been a study, I don't know if it's ongoing or if it has concluded, but they have been looking into reintroducing the moose into the beast boss, which again is a natural reserve. And for those who, again, 99% of you guys are going to be unfamiliar with this area, but it's kind of like swamp with forest. It's kind of like that. So I wanted the moose habitat to have a little bit of a swampy feel, and actually this worked out well because the moose in Plant Zoo actually has a water requirement. I have not looked at the Zoopedia for any of the animals. I'm just going off of real life habitats because that makes it, to me at least, a little bit more interesting to really go into like, oh, this is their real world habitat. I'm not going to do that with polar bears though, because that's going to take up the entirety of Eve Zoo. But when it came to the moose, because they were looking at like reintroducing them in this certain area in the Netherlands, I was just like, alright, I'm going to look at that area in the Netherlands and I'm going to take the reference pictures from there instead of the natural habitat that the moose is in right now. Although the beast boss would be, like, actually the moose would, according to that research, do quite well in that like swampy area in comparison to other large hoofed animals. Anyway, so yeah, that's the entire idea behind this habitat. But now I should probably explain the Hannibal Lecter thing. Yeah, this is where the bug story comes in. So I, as a kid, as a kid and to this day, I have a little bit of a weird relationship when it comes to bugs. As a kid, I was very much afraid of like spiders, bees, hornets, wasps and all of that. I'm still kind of like, not afraid, but I don't like being around hornets and wasps. I think nobody likes being around them. I want to murder every mosquito in sight, but I think everybody wants to do that. But when it comes to like spiders and such, I'm now completely okay with them. Like if I see a spider in my room, I'm just like, if you kill mosquitoes and don't get in my face, because that's something that spiders like to do, they just sort of pop up in your face sometimes, then you're fine. You know, if you just keep to that corner, I won't do anything. You actually sometimes, well, especially the like larger tarantulas, the like hairy ones, kind of adorable. I know that like the hairs on a tarantula are not soft, but I just imagine them as soft, and half of the cuteness of tarantulas, it seems, comes from my imagination. But anyways, there are some animals that, or bugs, that I had a little bit of a strange thing with when it came to my childhood. Let's get started with a positive one, which is ladybugs, which I just want to say the Dutch word for it because I just think it sounds nice, but ladybug in Dutch is lieveheersbeestje. So here's your Dutch word for today, just because I like the word lieveheersbeestje. But when it came to ladybugs, I always had this weird fascination with. Like I always thought they were quite amazing. I actually have this thing with basically every beetle. I like beetles for some reason. I think they're just kind of cool, especially like the larger ones with like the horns. But when it came to ladybugs, here's the thing, ladybugs, at least around here, are not really afraid of humans. So if you hold your hand close to them, they will just walk on your hand. I also quickly found out they will piss on your hands, but because I was so fascinated with ladybugs, I didn't care about that. So what 6 or 7 year old Poison would do was just, whenever I saw a ladybug, I wouldn't go out of my way to find a ladybug, but if I saw one, I would go up to it, hold my hand close to it, and let it walk on my hand and just look at it. I would sometimes sort of walk around with it. Yes, I was a weird kid. Is anybody surprised by that? But I would just look at it. And then it would fly off, or I would eventually let it go back onto whatever plant it was on. But later on, my dad actually told me, oh, ladybugs are very good when it comes to like roses, because roses, at least here in the garden, they would get infested with these sort of small bugs. And those were basically on the menu for ladybugs. So that changed my already strange thing and fascination with ladybugs into well, whenever I would spot a ladybug, then I would try and get it on my hand, and then I would walk home and put it on the roses. We had a lot, well, we still have a lot of roses in the garden. If like 10, actually almost 20 years ago, now I feel old. Yeah, 6 or 7 year old Poison would walk from like the other side of the village, which, yeah, for adult Poison, the village that I live in right now is not that large, but for 6 or 7 year old Poison, it was a large village. I'll only later find out how small it actually is, but I actually remember the story of me being on basically the other side of the village, finding a ladybug, having it on my hand, and then sort of jogging back home. Yes, Poison was jogging or slightly running back home, because if you go full on run, they will fly away. I was fast walking back home with a ladybug on my hand. And then when I got to the street, so I wasn't even home, but when I got to the street where my house was on, the ladybug flew away. And then I was sad. I mean, I walked all that way with that ladybug and then the bastard flew away. I would have given them a feast, because the roses were completely infested with those pests. Or at least with those smaller bugs. Yeah. So I had actually quite a good fascination with ladybugs, because I would basically bring them to their dinner or lunch. But there is the other thing, like the other bug that I had, well, here's where the Hannibal Lecter thing comes in, because I enjoyed torturing ants. Yes, so this is not even that far away. Like, this is probably a year ago, but we had like an infestation of ants in the kitchen, and we would see them walk over the countertop. We eventually found the hole that they were coming from and filled that up, so then the ants stopped coming. But while the ants were walking over the kitchen top, I would just squish them with a finger. It was like, and I just enjoyed doing that. And this is a year ago or something. This is not 6 or 7 year old poison. Although well, I can't say 6 or 7 year old poison because I sometimes still find myself doing this. But in the garden, between the stones of the pot, there was always sand, and especially in the summer, those would just be filled with ants' nests. And Little Poison didn't enjoy squishing the ants. No, what I enjoy doing, because like if there's an ant's nest, there's always going to be, of course, a hole, and then the sand is going to be piled up next to that hole because the ants have to dig out their nests. I think you can already see where this is going. Yeah, I filled up those holes. I would just like basically just swoosh the sand back into the hole. And it wasn't of like, oh yeah, the ants are going to die. No, it was just like seeing the chaos erupt. Like seeing the ants just scatter and all like go all chaotic and such. And I want to say I don't do that anymore. But sometimes I see an ant's nest and I see like a little pile of sand or earth next to it and just like swoosh the earth into the hole with my shoe. I don't stand there and enjoy doing that over and over again like I did as a child. I will do that once and walk away because I have more important things to do. But as a kid, I definitely remember sitting in the garden doing that and then like not like keeping the hole filled. I would actually wait until they opened up the hole into the ant's nest, be all calm again, and then I would fill it up. I would legitimately torture those ants. Like I would wait for them to calm down again, then unleash the chaos. Again, there's the fireworks in the background, but I would unleash the chaos and would wait until the ants calmed down again and then would do it all over again. I definitely sat in the garden for like half an hour doing that. But then I am very much like, I'm very easily entertained by like the most minor of things. Like I have like a little bit of rope, like legitimately like 10 centimeters of rope. It's like from a very old, I think, gift package that I once got. And I put a safety clip on it and I'm just like, for some reason, I can enjoy myself with that. Yes, I've been playing with that for like 10 minutes now. But anyways, so when it comes to the rest of the box, I mean, I like bees. I think bees are very important to like the environment, and it's sad that there's like the bees are basically dying off, especially those fuzzy bees. Like there's some bees that are like, okay, but if you're fluffy, then you are on Poison's good side. So yeah, bees are kind of amazing. Beetles are still kind of amazing, so that includes ladybugs. Mosquitoes can die in a fire. The same, well, I know hornets and wasps fulfill an important role in the environment, but can you do that away from me, please? And then, what are the other bugs? I mean, spiders, you know, as long as they're doing their job and they don't get in my face, then they are good. Also, I deliver newspapers in the morning, and just a side note, if you have a newspaper subscription and your garden feels like the Amazon, I will think you're an awful person. Because I will have to go through your garden, full like I'm wading through the Amazon, and get through so many webs. Yes, I will think you're an awful person just because you're not keeping up your garden. At least like keep the road to like your mailbox clear. Here in the Netherlands, the mailbox is kind of ingrained into the door. I don't know where else that is the case, so let me know if you have a mailbox that's completely ingrained in your front door. Keep the path to your mailbox clear and don't torture ants is probably the message of today's video. Yes, I am very intrigued by how I haven't turned into Hannibal Lecter, with just how much I enjoyed basically torturing ants. But anyways, that's going to be it for today's video. I hope you liked it. If you did, there is the like button. There's also the subscribe button if you want to keep up with the videos. And there's the notification button, but before that one starts working, the ants will take revenge on me. So anyways, Have a wonderful day, guys. Bye bye.